Welcome back, y'all.
Season
This is
3 of
episode
For the Love
number
of
5,
Humanity.
season 3.
I'm so
For the Love
excited
of
about this
Humanity.
season. I've
My
taken
diary,
some time
essentially,
to
at this
reflect
point.
on the last 2 seasons
As I said last
and
week, we were
what I
talking
have
about
shared in terms of
Ooh,
progress. And
psychic
there were
intuition,
moments where I
intuitive
felt kind of
capacities, internal
uncomfortable about
guidance,
being
congruency
vulnerable or
and
about sharing
transparency,
my
having the inside match the
thoughts, experiences,
outside.
emotions. And
What would happen
not
if we were
because,
all
what
psychic,
I'm sharing
telepathic?
is
What would that
particularly
mean? We would be
vulnerable
see-through.
in general, but more
It'd be onto
so
us.
because this is stuff
We wouldn't
that
be able to hide anything.
in the
Is that
past
such
I've
a
wanted
bad
to
thing?
keep rather close to heart.
How
So
we relate and interact
it's
with one
been
another,
a
given that.
very
We
cool
have to
thing
get a
to
little,
feel
get to know
it
ourselves a little bit
externalized
more
and show up
to get
and
there.
share
One of the things that I
from
talked about
a
just
place of
briefly that
Bear
I'm not even going to
giving
really
and Bear
talk about
just
that much
wanting
this time either,
to
but it will be in a future
relate
episode,
to any
is like the
human on the
judging
other
and
end
perceiving
listening
of
to
somebody
this.
else's field.
And
One example
so
that
I
came
wanted
up
to
again,
record
because
when things were
I say to you,
timely.
when
I
I
wanted
start
to
to learn these
share
things, a
when things
plethora
were
of
still
examples come.
fresh.
My
I
inner
wanted
teacher
to
sort of walks
share,
me through,
even though part
and
of
it's
me
not my inner
knew
teacher. It is and it
that
isn't. It's
upon
me
reflection
on another level,
there
being
is
aware
the
of it
option
and
for
showing
feeling
the
cringe about
expanded version of me
things
is showing the
upon
confused version of
reflection.
me
There's
an
that
example, and it's like a learning process
getting
inside.
comfortable with
And so I
knowing
was given
that
another
in the
example.
future
I'm
you will
at
have a higher perspective,
European grocery store. I
and a
love
more
it. It's one of my
expanded
favorite ones to go to.
perspective,
And there
different
is
views, different
3
preferences,
women
different
walking around the
ideals.
store, and one of them in
And
particular
if you want to share with
gives
others,
the
you have to
vibe
make
of
peace with
attractive.
that shift
Dressed
and
to
make
the
peace
nines,
with
hair done, looking
looking back
exquisite.
and
This
seeing a
woman was
difference.
beautiful.
And that
it's not to
took
say that
me,
her
that
other
was
friends were
something
not
that really
beautiful,
I had to
but she
work
exuded,
at.
I know I'm beautiful.
Which,
I'm here to show
is
out like
why
I'm
I say in
beautiful.
the beginning it
This
felt
is
vulnerable.
me. Have a look.
It felt vulnerable showing my growth,
But
in front
with
of people.
like there's this consent thing,
a
right?
part of me that
But
would prefer
there's this
to
feeling
grow
of like
sort of
attractiveness.
underground in
And
silence.
it's interesting because I think as people we're
and
attracted to specific
present
things and
when
we're attracted
everything
to
is
different
in
things.
perfection. Perhaps
there's
it's
not
the
one type.
Capricorn,
Everybody's got a little
Capricorn
kink for
sun
something. Everybody's
in
got a little
me.
fetish for
Perhaps
something.
that's
Everybody finds something
a
attractive.
number
And
of
then
things.
there's generalized attractiveness.
Today I'm going to share a little bit about my human
that we
design and my
experience, and like
astrology
with
for
media and
those who are
celebrity culture,
interested,
this gets a little bit
and
skewed or
how
gets a little
I
bit
use
blurry,
that
or the
as
expectations get a little bit coerced into areas that maybe
perhaps
naturally
a
they
trigger
wouldn't
or
fall.
something to
Like
respond
maybe
to or look at.
someone just
And
really
at the
likes a
same
certain
time,
body
I'm
type. They
very
just
clear
do. They love it, and
that
maybe
it
that's
is
not the
not
traditional what you'd see in the
all
media as being
defining
portrayed.
of me.
Although,
And
I
I would
will
advise
say
everybody to
things
consider
are
that
getting better
even
in
when they
terms
read
of
something about
variety and
themselves,
acceptance and inclusion, and people being
it's
able
a
to say
benchmark, and we can
attractiveness is
transcend
actually on the
many
inside,
of
and we
the
know
things
that,
we
and we've heard
think
that for so long. But what does that mean
are
energetically?
realities.
And
They're
like
just
I'm watching this
materialized
person,
constructs or materialized
energetically,
beliefs
that's what
and
they
ideas,
have. That's what they're exuding,
and they are meant to be
and they sort of
expanded
fit
beyond. We're not
a
meant
semi-traditional
to start out
media
one way and stay
depiction
that way
of
forever,
attractiveness.
including
But
what
what
we
really
think is
came
set in
through was this
stone in our
person's
design
energy
and
and
our
feeling
genetics
of
and our
attractiveness.
lineage.
And it's funny because this book
the way
I'm
we
reading
be and
talks
the way
about
we
this a
show
little
up.
bit.
So
It says,
I
what
believe
if
we're more
you're
fluid than that.
attracted because
So
you're
in this
feeling
season,
the
I'm going
attractiveness
to
of
talk
that
about a few
person's
things. I'm
projection
going to
field.
focus a lot
Not
on
only is their
leadership.
projection field attractive,
I'm going to
but
share
they
tidbits
themselves feel
of my
attractive.
current
They
reflection,
believe they're attractive,
some big picture thoughts,
and that's being
on
pushed out like
how
a
we're
signal,
evolving
like a
as a
bat
human
symbol,
species, and what
like the
that
Batman
looks like
symbol,
to me,
like
and
like a
how
green light
I
in
see
their
that,
field.
and
Not
how
an
I've
invitation.
downloaded
That's not necessarily what I'm saying.
information on that,
But there's
or
I feel
insight
attractive.
on
I
that,
feel
and how it makes sense in
I
my
feel
brain.
a vibe. I feel good.
I'm
I
going
look
to
good today.
give you
And that is what
practical
you're
best
picking up on
bits
their
of how
field.
I've gotten from
And
there
you're
to
not
here,
necessarily
and
judging
again,
them as
reminding you that
attractive. It's not like you're like
anything
they're
I share
attractive, they're
is just
not.
something that's worked for me.
But what you are feeling
and my
is
hope
someone's
is
attractiveness in their
to
projection
invite you
field,
into
and you're noticing it and you're
belief
aware
that
of
things
it.
can change,
And like,
while knowing that
man, would that
you
let
can
people
borrow
off
from
the
other people,
hook for feeling
absolutely.
guilty for
But
finding people
eventually,
attractive or
things have to
thinking
become
they're,
your own. You have to
having
embody
some sort
them.
of,
You have to
and this
process
is not
them
to
and
say
bring
that
them
that's
through,
not existing
and
either.
you will
You
make
can
it
still
your
feel
own.
attraction. But what I'm
So
saying is, have
everything
you
that you
ever
take from another
questioned
in
what
terms
percentage
of
of that
practice or
attraction is you
inspiration,
bringing that to the table
it is
as
just
being
that it's a
attracted
temporary
versus
scaffolding until
them
you've
bringing it to the table
internalized it and
as
created your
feeling
own.
attractive,
That
and you're
often
feeling, you're
and
bumping up
should
against
fit you better
they're feeling
than
attractive about themselves.
the borrowed piece
And so
of
ask yourself,
information.
if
And
you have this experience when you see
so that's
someone
what I'm
who
hoping to
feels very
share. So
attractive in
currently, currently, the way I
Does it
see my
rub up
experience is
against you
that
and
I
rub
am
up
in the new now.
against you in an insecurity way where you're
Like
like
it changed.
looking
I'm
to
on the
find a
other
flaw or
side
tear the
of
person
something.
down, or
A rebirth occurred.
sort of dispel the fact that they're attractive,
and
wanting to refute it. Like, no, you're not attractive. I don't
it's so
find you.
interesting because
Do you know?
I feel this
Like, is that something that,
etheric
oh,
liminal
interesting. That's an
feeling
interesting trigger. The
of
person
the
didn't say anything, but their
option
energy rubbed up against yours, and now you
of
feel
present
away. why do you feel
future
the way?
and
It's a
past all at once, sort of swimming together. So
exercise in
I
seeing your own
recognize that
triggers,
there are
seeing your own
past
judgments,
states,
seeing your own
and that
stuff.
the
So in that
body
case, I
holds
would
the
say
memory of the past.
there might be a bit
to
of
a
a judgment.
degree. I
But the
haven't.
judgment isn't to say you're a shitty person you're judging.
It hasn't
the
become
judgment is to say,
amnesiatic
hey,
where I don't
there's a
have any of the
situation you're
past
judging
sort of
here
lingering in my
because you're
purview
feeling
and in
a
my
way about
experience.
it. There's a trigger
But-
here, and have a look at it.
And also,
right?
I feel the
and if it's a fairly
future more
benign, like, oh, that
strongly
person's attractive,
in my present.
are you just being
So
aware that they're
it's
attractive? Just like you would be aware of, oh, that person's tall,
It's like recollecting
right? There's no
something
denying
you
it. That person's
did
tall.
when you
I
were
mean,
in
sure,
primary
there's
school,
relativity if they're
and
beside somebody
knowing
who's
that was a
they're
part of who you were
6
at
foot
one
and they're beside
point
somebody
in
who's
the
7 foot.
experience,
Okay,
but not
well,
feeling
then
the
the
impulse
relativity
to
would say, you know, that
re-enter
person's
it, or
somewhat tall and
feeling
this
so
person's really
detached
tall.
from it that
But
you know
what
it's
I'm
not
saying is when
really
you experience
partly
someone,
part of your
are you
reality anymore. It's
experiencing
not real.
your thoughts
So
about
that's
them
the
free
space
and
I'm
clear,
in currently.
or you're
I know it's
experiencing
new.
their
I'm
thoughts about
cognizant of it being
themselves,
new.
their
I know
feelings
there's a
about
new
themselves,
chapter.
their
I know
projections
things
about themselves pushed out into
like
their
ripe
field
and full of
that you're now
potential,
sensing.
and I'm accepting that
Food
in
for
each
thought.
moment. And
Food for
it
thought.
does
Consider
feel
it.
a little bit.
That's just a little
Bambi-like.
leftover from last week.
And
A little leftover from
I
the
think
last
in
episode.
season 1 and season 2, I've felt
So,
this familiar feeling
this
before.
episode,
And
I
I have
wanted
to
to
say,
go through
it's
some
felt like
foundational
waves
questions
of
about
contraction.
how you be,
So
how you feel, think, and
like
be in this
almost like
world.
a
How
tooth coming
what does
in, or
life
if you've
feel
had
like to
children
you?
or
What is the
babies,
point of
it's,
this?
you know,
And if you've never
a
stopped to think
contraction where
about
the
this,
baby's coming down the
great,
the
wonderful,
birth canal,
excellent.
and it doesn't
Let's get
just come
into
down
it.
the
And
birth
if you
canal and then pop
have,
out.
this might be a bit of a
Unless,
repeat
you know,
for
you've
you.
had a
Who
few and
knows?
it's
Maybe you're an existentialist
and it's
at heart and
become
you're
quite an
constantly
efficient
questioning these
process.
things. But
And your
I'd
body
love
like
it
relaxes
if
into it, and there's no
you feel
resistance.
the
But
impulse
it
to
feels
take
as though
a
there were
moment,
waves
pause the
where
podcast, and
not
make
false
some notes. I
starts,
say
but
pause
I
the
felt
podcast
as though,
because do you know how
okay,
many
this is the
times
coming
I've
out, this is
listened
the
to a book and it
presenting,
said,
and then
okay,
there's a
pause
little
now,
bit more
journal
that
on this,
came up, and
I think I'm going to.
a little
I'm
bit
like,
more
no,
to
I'll do
work
it later,
through in
and I'm
terms
not
of
gone back to the book and done it.
authenticity and what feels good
But
and what feels
there
right.
is
And
gold
each
to be
time, I would
mined
say the
from
gift and the
these
benefit is that I'm
moments. So if you
recovering
feel the impulse
and remembering
take
and
it.
encountering more
Don't put it off.
joy. With
Journal,
each
see what
time
comes
I
for
come
you.
out, there's
and if you're able to just like hold it in your head,
joy to
while you
fear
listen to it,
ratio
perfect.
is
So
harmonizing differently.
first
It's
question, and I'm going
balancing
to say
out. There's
these. Some of
you know,
them,
fear
do you
feels
or do
very
I?
different to
They're
me
going to
than
flip
it
back and
did,
forth because I wrote
let's
these. And
say,
that's the way I
most
wrote
of
them,
my
and that's
life,
the way I'm
and
going
then
to read them.
specifically
But
between the years of
just know that I
2017 and
know
2021.
there will be a tense change
Fear
or a
feels
prose change
tremendously
in
different.
these questions.
So
So first question, do I
the
believe
experience
that
I'm
I am
having with
progressing
this
up?
coming forward
Think of life as like maybe an upward spiral.
mm,
That progression
presenting
or progress
who I
is
am
available
now
to me.
feels vulnerable
Because
and
sometimes
new,
we can see
yet
life as like, and I'm going
easy
to give a little
and
context around each question. Sometimes
full
we
of
can see life as
acceptance.
like a loop, like, oh my God, I'm
So-
running in this loop. I'm doing the same thing again. Here's my loop coming up.
I
Okay,
feel
you
as
do this.
though
Now I'll do this. And then you go do this. And then I'll respond
a
this
page
way. And
of
we back and forth,
unanswered
back and forth.
questions,
Oh
or
my
a
God,
book of
I can just
unanswered
like,
questions.
could I jump out of this
have
loop somehow?
reached
I jump off
their
bridge to get out of this loop.
their settling point. Like
or are we
they've
experiencing like, oh, this has come around a second time, but this time
they've
it
been
came around
answered, and I've
and I was ready. And I was
orgamied
like,
them.
noticed how
that
much
even-
more patience I
orgamied
had,
them
or how
into a
much
boat
more
and set the boat
consciousness I
on the
had around
water
it, how much room I
be
felt like I had
reabsorbed
to
by
maneuver
the
this. Or
all.
when I got asked this question, I
Like,
was
it's
able to
time,
answer
it's
it
right, I've
honestly
sent
and
it
not
off.
worry
So
and not people
all of
please
the
and
things
not
that felt very
mask.
pressing,
Or
and
the next time it came up, I was able to say no,
feverish,
thank
I
you.
need
and
to
it
know,
felt
and this feels
fine, and I
uncomfortable, and
didn't
when is
need
it going to be
worry,
over,
or
and
blah,
what does
blah, blah,
enlightenment
blah, blah,
look
whatever
like,
story
and
you
when
have
will I
around
be
it.
there, and when will I feel
Whatever
it,
example
when will I
comes to
feel
your mind. Do you
up
believe
and
in
over?
progression?
And I've said
Do you
this
believe
in
you are
previous
progressing?
seasons. There was this feeling in
Do you
me
believe
that
it's
there,
an
like, there has
upward
to be a plateau
motion,
point where I
like
reach
it's
this
getting
plateau and I
progressively
pull
better?
myself up onto it,
Do you believe that's
and
available
I can
to
feel
you?
stability there,
That's question
and it
one.
feels as though I've gotten there. And you
I'm
know,
gonna
many
sip
times
my
I get
tea while I ask these
rebuttals of like, "You're never
questions.
there. It's always a journey." And
Okay,
for
two.
me,
Do
this
I
is
believe in a
both
benevolent,
true and not true.
guided
And
experience? benevolent
multidimensionality, moving
grandeur.
around here,
overall
multidimensionality is something
environment
that
is
I have
benevolent.
embraced.
That there's a
as opposed
benevolent
to
steward,
duality. It's
God or
we're
guide
living in a different experience.
that
It's
there's
not one or the
something
other.
that ushers
So
goodness
there are many plateaus that we
toward
hit.
more goodness.
There are many rebirth points. There are many bridges
Do I
we
see
cross.
the progression
and then there
of
are
getting
big
better?
ones. We're always at impasses. We're
So I had a
always at
conversation with
decision
my kid about
points.
Murphy's Law.
And
he was
there
like, Murphy's
are
Law is a law.
demarcations,
People told me it was a law.
segmentations
Like,
of big
I get it, but I
rebirth growth
don't want
points
you to
and big
think that
change
that's like,
points and
you know,
big
a law
shift
that
points.
dictates and controls your life.
And so
Because
there's
the
something
law
in me
isn't
that
just
just
Murphy's
knew
law. The law
there was a
is like the law
changeover.
of
There was a changing
compounding,
of the
either
guard.
in a
There
good
was
way or a bad way.
a
The
flipping
momentum is
over
building,
of
and you get to
something,
decide which way you
regardless
move
of people
towards
telling
that.
me it's a
It's
lifelong
like you could have a day
experience.
where
It is.
everything is just snowballing.
So it's like
really fantastic.
using this
And you can have a
analogy
day where
of
things are
you're
getting
walking yourself across the bridge,
further and further down a slippery slope.
and the bridge is
you're
you
like,
and
oh my God,
yourself,
it's Murphy's
and
Law.
you're
Everything that can
figuring
go
it
wrong will
out.
go wrong today. Everything's
And it's
going
almost
wrong.
like you're groping in the dark,
affirming
you're
that
blindfolded, but you're supposed
means
to
that
be.
you're
And it's
focusing on
supposed to
it.
be
And
like
I'm
this.
not going
and
to
this is what I reckon
sit here
to
and
the
say,
dark night of the soul.
you know,
and
don't
it can
think
feel
any negative thoughts. Oh my God, you're
excruciating,
going
and
to
it
end
can
up in a
feel so
bad
deeply
spot. That's not
uncomfortable.
necessarily what I'm saying. But
And it
how
can
much
feel like
credence do you
everything
give
you've
to that?
ever
How
known
much
comes into
energetic weight do you
question,
give
and it
to
can feel like
this
you
is a
don't
bad
even know
day?
what
Do
a
you think you can stop
personality is
it? Do you
for.
think you have the
And
ability
you can
to
question your own mind,
neutralize the
and
situation?
you can feel
like often
deeply
a walk, a shower,
disenfranchised from
a quick
yourself,
closing my eyes and taking some
and
deep
your
breaths.
mental state, and you can
Focusing
watch
on
other
something
people
that I
around you
enjoy,
who
focusing
seem
on
to be
how
very
even yes, this thing is happening in
clicked
my
in
experience,
and
and I'm
okay,
way
and
bigger than it.
fine,
So I blow myself up
and all right with their
breath work
experience, and
to feel like
safe.
I'm bigger than the room
And
I'm
it can
even
be
sitting
really,
in. And then the problem
really
seems like,
disorienting
yeah, it's
to
there,
think,
but
well, what is
I
going
certainly don't
on
feel like
with
it's going
me?
to eat me alive like a lion.
And
So
this is like the big bridge. This
do
isn't like the
you
momentarily
believe in
momentary bridge of
goodness, let's
decision
go
A
back
to
to it,
B,
benevolence,
or which winding
compounding
road to
goodness?
take.
Do you think that
or,
things can get better and better?
I'm
Do you believe
creating a
that's
new
an option?
pattern, so I can choose the new
Do you believe
pattern
that
or
there's a
choose the old
force that
pattern?
is
This is like the deep
helping move
rebirth of who
goodness
you are
forward?
in totality. We've
That's
cut
question
all
2.
the ties and all the strings, and we've gone up in this hot air
Question
balloon, or
3.
we're again
Do you
crossing this
believe
bridge and we're not
in
quite there to the other side yet,
consistency of a
or we're
structure?
crossing a river. Whatever analogy
Do you
feels
believe
good
there's
to you makes
consistency
sense.
to the structure of our experience?
It's that big one.
Do you believe that we create
It's the
consistency,
trip
or there's
from caterpillar to
consistency
butterfly.
outside of us?
And when we
that's the
think
more
about caterpillar, how
universal
far can a
consistency or
caterpillar take
structure?
itself
And I'm
in
not
that
just talking
form?
about like government structure
Probably
or societal
like
structure.
a yard.
I'm talking about
We found some caterpillars in our
structure
yard.
of like
These
growth,
big juicy
birth,
green ones.
growth,
They're really
death.
cute.
That
And you
like
look
a
at its
cycle of
body and
that
you think
big,
this,
or
this
even a
can't go
cycle of
far.
just like growth.
You're pretty
or
much
a cycle
restricted
of
to
like what can
what,
you rely
like
on is like
50 meters,
like
maybe,
gravity. Like,
unless something takes
do you believe
you.
that there's a consistent structure?
I don't know. I don't know how
Or
caterpillars move around.
do you
or
see
what
things
their,
as chaos
what their
or chaotic
migration is like,
or both?
But
And
in
if you
order
see that there's both
to
structure and chaos, to what
get anywhere
extent
further, the
do
caterpillar
they work in
goes into
tandem with one
cocoon,
another?
completely
And how are they working in
dissolves
your
itself,
life? When things are going bad, does it
takes
feel
up
like
a new
chaos? And when
form.
things are going
And the
good, does it feel
intelligence
like
behind that whole
miracle?
process, like think
When
about
things are going
that. If it
bad,
were a
does it feel
computer
like
program
chaos,
that had to
or just
run
the way
that,
it's supposed to be for you,
if
and
that
it's an
helps you
uphill
with that
battle? Or
analogy,
does it feel
like
like
what are the
when
commands
things are
that
going
make
bad for
that
you,
happen?
there's some sort
Right, so
of
this thing
meaning,
goes from
structure,
something that's pretty
there's something towards it,
located
there's
in a
something
pretty
that you can
small
gain
radius.
from it. Like, how do you see that happening?
Its
Where does that fit?
function is, to eat, survive. It's got
Okay,
these
number
little
4.
legs. Doesn't really go
It
that
could be a
far.
stretch.
It goes into a
It
cocoon,
could be
some
a little bit of a snatch and
self-isolation,
grab. Is it a snatch and
follows
grab?
some
Do you
sort of
have to
etheric
fight
blueprint
for what
to
you
turn
want?
into something completely different with
Or
wings this
is there an
time.
amount of
Less legs,
unconditional
maybe the same amount, I
giving,
don't know.
love, and availability?
And now it's
Do you
able to
feel like
migrate cross-continent.
it's really
That's a huge
difficult
shift.
to get to
The
the
metaphor of the
resources in
butterfly
life? Do you feel like it's
repeated
like you got to just
throughout
get while the getting's good, because the getting might not be
esoteric
good
texts,
forever?
throughout
Do you feel
spiritual
some sort of
wisdom,
like
throughout modern storytelling,
I need to
because
get
it offers
everything I
us
can
such
out
a
of this,
rich,
'cause who knows when the next
multidimensional analogy or
getting will
metaphor
be?
for what
Feast or
the human
famine?
potential
Do you feel as
for
though there's a lack
expansion
of
and
resources
evolution
or
looks
scarcity to
like.
resources, or there's a
So you go
timing
through this
scarcity?
entire transformation where you lose
Do
everything,
you
every
feel as
semblance
though
of who you
there's
were,
enough time to get things accomplished?
and form into
Do you
something
feel as
new?
though
And
you can stretch
I
time?
wonder
Some of you
if
might be in that
butterflies retain the
phase
memory of
where
being a
you
caterpillar.
started
Like, I
working
wonder if their
stretching time,
consciousness remains
making
intact,
time feel like it's
so
longer,
it remembers when it
playing with
was a
time,
caterpillar.
instead of time being this crazy force
If
that's
there's a
completely
soul that
outside of you
carries
that
over.
you're a victim
And
to, or you're beholden to.
So I just
or
find
you're
that to be so
stuck
incredible,
with.
because the abilities, skills, and purpose of a butterfly is so different. Like monarch
Number
butterflies
5,
migrate
what is the
south
utility of
across
competition
continents.
in your individual
incredible.
life? And
So
how does that relate to
thinking
all
about
of
that
life?
bridge versus
What is the
the little
utility
mini
of
bridges
competition?
every day.
Is
I
competition
said
a
I'm
thing
going to
much
do
in your
something
life?
different. I'm
Do you have to
committing to
compete for
something different.
resources,
I'm
for
making
time, for
a
attention?
choice here to do something different.
Do you feel as though you're
versus
competing to be the best?
my hands
Do you
are off the
feel as
wheel.
though competition is
It
necessary?
feels as though I've been
Do you feel as though
frozen,
there
but
are
I've
ways in
just
which
been put into a
competition
cocoon,
is
whether
fun
self-imposed,
and
whether
productive, and leads
by the
to
divine,
evolution and expansion?
And thinking
Do
of
you
that,
feel as
like,
though
there
there's
are
no need
times
for
when we're
competition?
in
We actually don't need
freeze
it to expand. We can
because
continue
we've
expanding through
become
curiosity without
complacent,
competition.
ish.
Do
I never even
you,
want to limit
how does it
somebody
relate
with
to
that,
all
but
of life?
if
Does
we're
the
being
way that you see
complacent, there's a fear
competition in your
somewhere.
individual life
There's a
relate
comfort that
to
needs to
how
be
other people
addressed. There's a
experience
reason
competition?
why
Do you
we
see a
want to stay
difference
comfortable,
in the way
right?
people
So there's
experience
like
competition?
varying degrees of
You see that,
procrastination.
this person that you know over here
But then
sees
there's
competition
also
this way,
trust
but
in
you
divine
feel like it's
timing.
this way.
And that was
How do you
something
see
that I struggled
competition?
with
How does it
throughout
relate
this
to you in your
whole
life?
season of transformation that I've been experiencing. And I'm journaling
Number
and I'm,
6,
why did
do
it
you
have to go
believe
so
there is
slow
a
and
good life
be so acute
with your
for
name
me
on
to
it?
experience?
I'm reading
And I
these
love
just
to
to remind you.
teach. I love
Is it
to
possible
I love
that
to
there is a good life?
help
Is
people
there such
through
thing
their
as
own
a good
process.
life?
I innately love to
To
problem
what
solve. I'm a
degree do you
5-1
have to
problem
strive
solver
for the
in
good
human
life?
design, sacral
Or are
authority,
you
generator,
entitled to the
problem
good
solver.
life by birthright?
Left cycle cross.
Can you lose the good
Left,
life?
I don't know. Cross
Can
of
you lose
cycles.
it?
Something left angle cross of cycles. So this is like
To what degree is
my
it conditional or unconditional,
thing
this good
in
life?
this
Do you have
lifetime.
to work hard for it? Do you have
And
to work
to
first and enjoy the
understand
good life second?
transformation at this level has
Can you
been a
enjoy the
gift.
good life while you're working?
And for a long time, it was
Is work
agonizing.
part of the good
and
life?
I couldn't trust
Does
it.
work feel good?
And I kept thinking, am I being
What does
lazy?
the good
Am I
life mean?
procrastinating? What's the difference?
Do you think that people who
What's
believe
the
in the good
difference?
life
Is the divine timing
are
at play?
just
Because right now I really feel like it's
delusional?
not. I
Do
feel
you
like
think
it's
that
taking too long.
they're just focusing
Where's
on the
my
good parts
gumption
and not the
gone?
cracks?
Where's my
not
drive?
the bad
Where's
parts?
my white
Do you
knuckle
believe
get
that you
it done
can't have a good life while
determination
other
that I've
people
always
are having a
had?
bad life?
And I got to see this in
Do
different
you
ways. I got to
believe
see like,
that
shoot, I've been
you should
clenching
feel
my
guilty for
jaw, I've
having
been
a good
clenching my
life?
body. That's how I
Do you
got
believe that
things
good
done
is
in the past.
subjective?
And what a gift.
And there's no point
But
in
also
even
a gift to
thinking
see
about the
that
good
that's not
life.
necessarily sustainable if I think about my whole system
Number
operating.
7, to what
Operating in a
degree are you
clenched,
aware
contracted state
of your
force
awareness?
is not
To
not
what degree are
ideal.
you
It's
aware
not
of your
sustainable.
awareness?
And then I
Are you
realized
aware of
through
your awareness?
masculine
Can you
and
see
feminine
it?
dynamics that
Can you feel
that
it?
was
Can you
a very
envision it? Can you have
masculine way of
pull up
trying to force
examples
the feminine
of you
energy
being aware
to
of being
produce for it.
aware of something?
And so
It's kind of like that
through this
meta
journey,
thing
I've been
last episode when we
able to
talked
see
about
masculine and
falling and
feminine
being
dynamics at
embarrassed
play
and being
within
aware that
myself
someone's
and
aware that you're
understand how
aware,
they
and in this
resonate
moment you're
throughout,
aware that they're aware that you're
the
aware.
entirety of existence and also
To what degree are you aware of
humanity.
your awareness?
I've
To
been
what
able
degree are
to
you aware of your internal
use my human
guidance?
design as sort of a
the
scaffolding
God
to
inside.
investigate myself. I
How do you
have
understand God?
the
What is
force, power,
being animated, being
majesty,
like having life force,
gene
living?
key, human design
What
experience.
differentiates
right?
you
The gate
from
34.
something that you
I
see as
have
inanimate, not living?
learning to detach.
What's
Going from
what
like
does the spark
clasping and
of
grasping
life
to
mean to
detachment
you?
to celebration. These are things that have helped me
Do you
look
see
at where I
yourself,
became
or are you aware
contracted
of
and
the
controlling
God inside,
and
the living God,
basically
God looking through
sublimating
your
my
eyes,
power or using my power in ways that were not
the
sustainable for my
gentle paced
body,
awareness
and embracing the fact that I
that is the
really
human
do enjoy
mind,
being in the flow more than I enjoy knuckling down.
the
And for a
difference
large
between
part
the
of my
human
life, I
mind
would
and the
have
divine
this
mind,
sort of
or the sameness,
not
the
yo-yoing, but
unification,
like
the two
pendulum
sides of one
swinging
coin of the human
experience of
mind
being
and the
so
divine
free
mind. What
and
does the
so
divine
flowing.
mind mean
I have a
to you?
Sagittarius moon and a Sagittarius stellium. My big planets are there: Neptune, Uranus.
Number 8, to what degree do you
What
partner
else?
with
I have
this
my
aspect
Saturn's in Scorpio. My
and
Pluto
let
is
it
at
into your
29
everyday
degrees Libra
awareness
for any of
and
you
life?
astrology people. So it's been a
This
real
aspect,
wild
this higher
ride.
version, this
And I've
intuitive
really been
guidance, this inner
swinging back and
awareness.
forth between knuckling down and
Is it
really
just
putting the
awareness?
full
Is it
pressure on,
personified
like
God?
using the
Is it
pressure cooker
you
almost
from a different vantage
going
point?
with
Is it you
steam,
from the
like a
future?
steam pressure cooker to get things done, and then
Is it
going
nothingness?
completely free.
What is the awareness
completely
behind your eyes?
not wanting to
behind
have
your
any control or
personality, behind the
restraint, and
you-ness?
just wanting to be in flow every day.
9, what is your
That
level
really
of
Neptunian,
trust?
dreamy.
What does your level of trust fall even with your
etheric,
life?
see you
If you were
later.
to trust fall into your life, what
Not
is
really
that level?
here
What is
for
the
a
level
bit.
you're able to do
And
that?
then
How
anticipating
much?
coming back
How much
to that
satisfaction
intense
do you get from
pressured
acting versus
performance
following
was
versus
like
presence
something that I felt sickened by
and
almost. I
awareness?
really did not want to perform or come back to that state. So I've really had
What does
to
it feel like to
look
do
at my
nothing?
own internal feminine
What
and
does it feel
masculine
like to
and make
know
peace
that
with
you
the fact that
can
they can work in
combine,
tandem and harmonize
you
them
can
and
paint
balance them
with,
so that I wasn't
you can
going
dance with each of these
completely,
abilities, these concepts?
out of this
It's your
experience
choice,
into an
your painting,
abyss, but
your movie,
also not
your
going
creation.
completely materially absorbed into
How do
structure
you
and
adjust
perfection
between
and
the
how it should
nuances of
be and
acting, following,
grinding
being
and
present,
forcing.
being awareness, doing
And
nothing,
so that has been
acting from
a big
inspired
part
place,
of
acting
my
on
learning in the
impulse?
last couple of years. And it's been
Number 10,
incredible lately
how
to
do you
reflect on
feel
how far I've come and how
to
things have
know,
felt.
or how does it
And one of
feel
my
to know
biggest
you're
takeaways right
responsible?
now is that it gets to be
You're the responsible
enjoyable.
creator
It gets to
for
be
your life.
fun. I get to have fun. I
And
get
that
to
there is a
play.
bigger
I get
picture
to make
or a
a
bigger
life that
force
feels
as
so
well.
good. And I have to
So
admit, the
it's you as a
somatic work that I've
creator,
been
you're
doing,
responsible and creating,
the breath work
and
I've committed to every
there's a
morning for the
bigger
last
force
over a year
at
now,
work.
every single morning I do
And that it's not
breath
impersonal.
work, and
It's
it's like
completely
30 minutes or more with a
unified
meditation.
within you,
It has
inside
been
you,
incredible,
not just
to
outside.
learn physically. I understood
And that goes for
conceptually
everyone.
how to shift my energy.
That's in
I
everyone.
understood
It's not just in
energetics.
you,
I
it's in
understood
everyone.
why it's important. I understood
Whether
the
you
energy
see
of
this as
everything.
just an awareness,
And
whether you see this as a
the
personal
last
thing,
year
a
or two
personal
has
God,
been
a
an
personal
intense
being,
embodied
whether you see this as
practice
higher
of
guidance,
energetics,
however
of
you've
shifting
decided to
energy,
see
of
it,
using breath,
whatever
of
that thing is, that's
feeling
making
into
you
my
aware
body,
and conscious is in every
having my
single
body
other
actually
person.
feel good,
What does
pulling
it feel
all
like
my
to
energy
connect up with
into my
knowing that
body,
and being aware of that for a minute,
everywhere.
being aware
Even
of
the
the fact
places
that
that felt tight,
everybody
or
else is main
barren,
character
or
as well.
empty,
Everyone else
or
is
pained,
living their life
or
to the best that they know
sad,
how
or
as well.
grieving, or tight,
And
or
to know that
fearful,
thing
or
that's in them
contracted,
is
or
connected.
frozen, or
It's the
like, this
same
is my
thing
body felt like
across
this
the
for
board.
for
So it's
I don't know how long I
constantly got a
hadn't been paying
plethora of
attention. I
knowledge
didn't
and
notice, and
wisdom
my
and
body is,
information that's being
fairly healthy. I've always held the
compounded and
overarching
shared
belief
back
that I'm
and forth,
healthy.
whether you're
I'm
conscious of it or
healthy.
not.
I'm good. I'm strong. Let's
It's
get it
not-
done.
It
And
is.
so I
It's the
didn't
same
really
for
notice
everyone.
until I started to have like hip stuff.
So it's
or,
also
like,
all around you.
womb stuff, sacral
It's
stuff,
inside you
big,
and
big,
it's all
big,
around you.
big
But it's still not outside of you.
alchemization that had
It's
to
not like
happen
it's
in those
separated off and
areas.
it's outside of you.
And
To what degree
embodying deeper,
does this feel like a
figuring out
remembrance
practices
or
that
truth
felt
when you
good for
hear
me, that
this?
allowed me to go deeper
To what
into the
degree does
cells,
this
to
feel
feel
like
into the
that's so far
fluid
away? I can't.
of my body,
my
like
mind doesn't
literally
even.
feeling as though my
I can't
body was
relate.
like, let's say, a bag of milk, a milk bag. Like each cell has
Number
fluid in it.
11, knowing
just
that there are universal
Bringing
truths,
my awareness to the state of that
like
fluid. Is it
cause and
moving?
effect,
Does it feel frozen?
gravity,
How does it feel? Does it feel stagnant
things that
anywhere?
everyone
So
experiences.
bringing in those practices and
does this
using
feel freeing
my
to
mind
know
to
that
assist with
everyone
that, using my
experiences the
intuition,
same
using
universal
my
laws?
energetic intelligence and awareness, learning how to break up density in my body,
That
energetic density,
everyone
feeling my heart wall
does this feel
dissipate.
trust
And
in
these are
this?
words I use
that everyone
that,
experiences
are
these?
thrown
Does it feel
around
scary? Does it
in
feel unfair?
contemporary culture
Does it
and
add
new age
confidence to you?
language. But I'm just using
Does it
this
help
so you
you
understand what I
trust
mean. I'm
and
not
navigate
heavily
and create
attached to any of this language, but
performance
in order for me to convey to you
to
what I was able to do in my
help
body
you
energetically,
perform?
I've got to have some language
Does it
around
help
it.
you?
So
Does it create a
feeling
performance
into those
pressure in you?
spaces, creating flow, creating fluidity, creating a home inside
Does
my
it take the
body
pressure
was
off,
huge,
actually?
huge. And I
So to
remember my
know that
first
there's a
somatic therapy
universal
session, and I was like, okay, well, how long does
experience
this
that
take?
everybody's
It's like
having,
very
there's
type
universal
A,
truths and laws that
very
everybody
Capricornian, get
experiences.
it
Does
done.
this feel
My
good or
Lilith is
scary?
also in Capricorn.
Does it feel good or
22
scary that it
degrees,
shows up
Capricornian
personally
degree.
for you, even though it is a
Lilith right there,
universal
conjunct
experience?
my sun. My
Does it
Chiron
put
is in
pressure on
Taurus,
you for
22
perfection?
degrees, like very
Or does it take
interesting
the pressure
dynamics. I
off?
had a very
And
interesting
anything in between.
chart
What's your
with that
experience of this?
Capricorn, my 7th house. So
12. Do you trust
understanding I have a
yourself
power
to
drive, and
navigate
it's funny because like my
this
human design,
universal
the power
experience, this
I have it 3
universal
times. I have it, I
set
think, on my
of
Jupiter. Oh, I can't remember. I'd
truths,
have to look it up
principles,
now, but I have it
laws,
3
however you
times
want
in
to
my
see
chart,
it?
and
Do you
machismo is
trust
big,
yourself
and I realized,
navigating
oh
this?
man, I didn't quite
And
get
do you
it.
trust yourself
but
navigating this with other people
after looking into it so much, I'm like,
who may or may
reading
not
this
be
stuff
aware of
about
this?
machismo and
If you know about
interesting,
these
very
laws and
masculine woman
rules,
at times.
these,
So
I hesitate. Scratch the
this
word
whole
rules out,
journey has
put these
been
laws and
fantastic.
truths. Let's say you know about
I've
them.
come to recognize
You know that your lessons are your lessons
how
and you've got to
deep
learn them. But you're interacting with someone who
deconditioning and
does not know that
deprogramming
their lessons
process
are their
goes.
lessons and they've got to learn them, and they continue
And I
to
would
insist that
say
it's your
it's so
problem.
multidimensional.
Do you trust yourself
because
navigating
when you
that?
first
How do you
come to
feel
terms
knowing that
with
some
it,
people are
you
not
sort of
aware that their
understand it.
lessons
Like I
are their
understood it
lessons?
in grad school a bit, and I was
Do you
like
want
really
to merge
cynical
more?
about the world and the
Do
state
you
of
want
the
to
world
merge
and
with
how is anybody
this observer?
expected
Do
to
you want to
exist like
merge
this? This is
more with
insane.
this
We're all
and
like
grow with this
working
observer
to live
more
and
consciously?
there's not enough to go
and more
around. It
clarity.
really,
Do you
gave me
want
a
to merge
reflection on the
deeper with
reality,
this
but at the
aspect
same
of
time, I
yourself?
was overwhelmed with the energy of lack.
Do you think that would
and then I was
add
angry, and I was
satisfaction,
upset,
benefit,
and all of these things are,
relaxation,
I think, naturally
trust,
part of the process for
joy,
me.
ease,
But I didn't know how to
and
move
meaning?
beyond it.
If
and
you were able
release
to
the
merge with
anger
this
I had
version
about
deeper?
it. And then I didn't know how to,
if you were able
accept
to
the
merge
fact
with this
that
version of
I had
yourself and
aspired
understand that there's a co-creative
more. I
capacity
aspired for more.
and trust
I wanted to
in the
live a life that was integrated
firmness of
with
certain
reality
aspects of your
and also
experience, the
hopeful
laws
and
felt
positive and
as though
aspirational.
they were more like
And my
guidance.
son
They were
is
more like
in
being
human design.
held.
He's 54.
Would you
Gate
trust
54,
deeper in it?
which
Would you
is
fall deeper in
gate
it?
of aspiration. It's
Could that
actually,
benefit you knowing this? Could
greed,
you relax a
aspiration,
little
and
more,
ascension.
knowing that perhaps some of the
so
cultural and
I can't
man-made
help it.
laws and rules
I want more.
are not
I'm
actually
very
the truth of
aspirational,
what's being experienced,
and I love
that there are
living that way.
higher rules
And
that
I
are
understood that living
grounded
in a
in
world
more
right now with
benevolence
so
and
much
progress and
hurt,
growth.
pain, people healing, people
If
not
so,
necessarily knowing how to
could
heal,
you leave
people
behind the petty blame,
being so
petty
entrained
claims,
into quick
past
fix
irritations,
and numbing
pains,
and
stories?
not wanting to
Do they
fully
even
be and wanting
matter
to keep busy
once you have this knowing,
like thirsty
this
for
experience, and
authenticity
this-
and thirsty for
this
goodness and
belief
thirsty
or
for
this, like,
feeling
innate
good in themselves.
connection?
Like this was
Can you
the
practice
challenge of
remembering
our
this and knowing
current
this,
experience as a human being,
knowing that it's an
and
ability
the
and a
challenge
skill
of our evolution
that you can carry
to heal and
across
move beyond, to heal and
all
and
areas of
produce
your life?
incredible things.
Once
to
you lean into
evolve
trusting this
into the
experience,
next version of
it's
us,
not just there
that
only
can
sometimes and
create
only in the good times. It's there all the
the
time.
most amazing, miraculous experiences. To evolve into
How could this make
understanding
you
that
feel
we are
lighter
creating,
to follow and
we're
trust
not
the
only
truths that you
co-creating,
know
but
are real
we're creating
beyond
So to come to
limits of
that and
space,
realize there's so
time,
many people
beyond
that don't
personality
have
and
the privilege
impersonality,
of having their
beyond
consciousness be able to absorb that understanding.
individual
It
experiences,
was
yet
really
they
hard
show up
because at first I
through
didn't want
individual
to talk about it. I didn't want to be
experiences.
aspirational because I felt that it was an insult to people who were going through really hard times.
So this,
But I
for
also
me,
understand
is a
that I
little
went through
bit
really hard times where I didn't even see a
like
point to
understanding
this
the
experience. Why are we
paradox and the
coming here on
grandness
earth
of
to experience this? What is this
universality.
for? Yes, we
Like
love
knowing
people.
that it
Yes, we
is
get to have children
personal and
and
individual,
trust me, the
yet
reverence
it
of my
is
own children and my family,
universally experienced.
kept me grounded in those times. But at the same time, I thought, well, how can anybody
It comes with individual expression.
alchemize this amount of pain? How
Yet
can anybody
always true.
see the good once
can
they've
count
seen the
on it.
bad? How can
Yet
anybody
it appears to bend as if a miracle has happened.
feel harmony
or a
again
miracle
with
has
the
taken
world?
place.
Feel like
It
they
takes
don't
an
want to get
awareness
off
to
this
stretch and
planet
perceive in
because of
situations that feel painful,
the way it feels
or
when you
personally
tune
limiting.
into what's
Sometimes we think
what's
that
horrible
benevolence or that
what's traumatizing.
awareness inside is not there.
And
when
I
we're
think what we're all
experiencing
feeling
something
right now is the
painful or
collective
scary or
purge
limiting.
of the trauma and the
We
horror
think we've been
and the
abandoned by
depression
it,
and the
or
sadness.
we think it's not
and
there or it doesn't exist in
we're
the
coming to the
in the scary
understanding that we are
negative
deeply
situations.
emotional.
Can you
And that we
remember that
cannot
this
numb to
governor
those
is inside
emotions, and we
always? The
cannot
governor is you. You have
push
this
them down or
capacity to
sublimate
govern
them because
yourself.
they have an effect on the body.
Can you
And I'm
remember that
so
you are
grateful
your
to
own
be here
governor,
on the planet
that you
at
have
this
the
time
ability
because
to
so many people are
self-govern,
becoming
know
awake
what's
to
right
this
for you
and
and
aware
what's
of
best
this.
for you?
And there's so many more people that
What if we
have
looked at karma,
done
the
their
assignment,
digging and done
right?
their alchemizing
Seeing
and done
karma
their
not as
deep
like
work.
you did
And
a
they're
bad thing, so
now
you're going
in
to
a
get a bad thing
building
back.
phase, and
It's
we
not
all
that
get to go
simple.
through that.
Karma is the assignment.
We all get to do
What do you
that
need to
from
learn?
where we're at, wherever we're at.
What is here for you to learn? And
But it
you
takes a
know
lot,
when you've
and
learned it. There's a part of you that's deeper and wiser that knows innately,
It's so worth
just
it.
like it knows a gut
It's so
instinct, just like
incredible.
it has spidey
It's so
senses. It
beautiful
knows
to have hope
when
and
you've hit
aspiration
the learning
and
when
to
you've
really push through
reached the learning.
and be
I
on
just
the
I
other
don't want to
side
list the
of
laws. I keep
flipping
talking
over
about the laws, but I
that
don't just want to list the laws.
state
I
of
want you to be
feeling
primed for their revelation.
hopeless to hopeful,
I
or
want you
feeling
to
stuck to
open up to
aspirational,
this thought, this
or feeling like you
consideration,
don't really even know
and
yourself
start asking
things feel hard
your own self
to
to guide you to
oh
some
my
of these
goodness,
laws. You might be walking in the forest
like
and
it's clear water.
watch one of these laws
I
in
get to
action. You might
swim.
be
I get to enjoy. Who said that life
going
had
through
to
a
be like
particularly
that?
exciting time,
Like
and
the
say,
deprogramming
yeah, this is
work
incredible.
is so
Look,
big
things are getting
because
better and better. There is
when you
something
start
to
to do
this.
it, you
There
look
is a
back and
benevolent
you
background.
think, oh
The
my
fact that I'm
gosh,
even
the
living and breathing and I
limitations
haven't
that
died, and
set
the
my
fact that the human
perspective
species is even
in a way
progressing
that I
and we haven't
didn't
killed
even
each other off, and the
realize
fact
what was an
that
option outside of
our bodies are
what I
innately
was
wanting to
experiencing.
heal, and our
And if I
design is
did,
so intelligent.
I felt a
The fact that,
rejection towards it.
we
Or
couldn't
if I
even
did, I
explain,
felt
like
not
we
for
couldn't have
me.
designed
Or
ourselves.
if I did, I felt
this
there
incredible.
must be something shady going
The fact
on
that all
there.
that exists
Or,
is reason enough.
like it's so interesting
And so
because I've
when you
said
get
in
to see that, you
past
get to start trusting in that
seasons,
benevolence.
jealousy
and
is
how
like
much
an
can you trust
indication
in
that
that?
you want
How much
some
can you
of that.
trust
There's
in your
something
own
inside you that goes, I want that.
self-governing?
But as soon as you say I want that, there's the programming that says you can't have
And
that
with karma,
for whatever
how much
reason.
are you in
And
non-resistance?
that's where the
What
work
are the levels of
begins, wherever you
non-resistance?
feel like something expands you,
Right.
but then there's something in you that
with
says, no,
karma,
it's not
you
safe to
know
expand.
innately
That's
why.
where something
That's
has
where we're
happened,
going.
or
That's
why
where the work
something's
is.
coming up for you.
And so
Or you know
that's
what it
where
means.
we are evolving
Or
as humans. We're
you know the
evolving our
lesson.
emotional
You can
intelligence.
identify
We're
with the
evolving our
lessons.
energetic intelligence.
Or
we're
perhaps
evolving
you
our
feel totally
spiritual
victimized by
intelligence.
it. You feel like,
Because
what the
that's
heck just
where
happened? This chaos just
your
slapped into my life. There's no
innate,
reason for this.
intuitive, internal
Right?
guidance
This is not
will
logical.
take
Why
you
would this
to the next
happen?
level. And we all have to
What
do
a
this.
cruel
That's how we
world.
evolve
What a
as
cruel
humans.
summer.
We are
This is chaos.
pushing
There's
beyond
no reason for this.
the realm of what we thought it meant to be
This
human.
is just
and
inexplainable,
remembering
chaotic, random,
the full
freak
capacity
accident.
of what it means
It's too
to
painful
be
to consider
human.
that this would ever have a reason.
There's been a governor, there's been a cap.
But if we
there
zoom
has
out a
been
little bit,
pinch
we can
in
see the
hose,
cause
a
and
kink in the
effect
hose
trail
of what we
behind
thought it felt
And
like
if we think about
to
it in
create
terms
with
of, I
our
don't have all
energy
the
and
answers
to be
yet, but
here
for
and to
for whatever reason,
materialize
there's a
our
lesson
desires,
here.
what's in our heart.
I know that in
And
painful
so that's what
in
I'm
painful
so excited to
situations, it
talk
can be
about.
really hard to apply
For a
this.
long
But
time,
this
I
is
thought
what I mean about the
was here to talk
universality.
about trauma
Like
ad
there are certain
nauseum, and then I
laws
felt
that
a
are
huge
universal.
resistance to that as I
They're
was
just
going
they
through. I
are.
thought, well,
They are. We don't.
because
We
I'm
don't
going
get around
through
them
this,
in
I
this
must.
realm.
This
in
must
this
be what
plane
I'm
at this
meant to
point.
teach.
So if it's
Because
universal,
I'm having to heal
it can be
myself
applied to all
with the help
situations.
of counsel,
What about
with
the
the
good
help
ones?
of therapy, with
Can
the
the good
help
ones be
of
universal and applied to all
healers,
situations?
with the help of
If I want to believe that my
all the
life has
learning
meaning,
I've been doing,
do I think it has meaning
all the
only
research,
to the edges of
all
what
the
I can
hours I
perceive
to
right
getting to know
now?
my own body,
Or can I grow and perceive more meaning
all the time I've
as I
spent
open and expand?
cultivating
So when
sovereignty
an awful thing
and
happens,
freedom
and I think
and connection
it's so messed up,
and
why did
humanity
that happen?
for myself,
That must have been.
for
There's
others.
no reason for
Like,
it. There's no logic. This doesn't
I
make
thought
sense.
this is what I have to teach.
Can I
This is
open up to
obviously
see?
But it felt like almost
But
like
what's
this
the
is my
chain of the
burden to
event?
bear to
What's
teach this
What's the chain of
in a
events
weird
that led
way.
to this?
And not that when people
does this
teach
create?
this stuff or help others with this stuff, it's a burden, not
Is
at
there
all.
even a remote
But for me,
possibility
it
that I
kept feeling
signed
like, do I
up for
have to
life
go over it
school
over and over again?
and
I have
came
to revisit
into
the
this
past over and over
form
again. Partly that was me not going to the
and
depth fully
decided to
yet,
be self-governing,
and partly that was
and
me
navigate
feeling
my
into
way
the
through
fact that that wasn't necessarily where I
school
wanted
with
to
other
stay
humans
or
to
fixate.
learn
That
and
wasn't
figure it out.
where
And
I felt the
perhaps
most
the grandness that I
expansive. And it was
actually
hard
am
for me to trust
when I'm
myself
not
because
identifying
I
so
had
tightly
broken
with
that
the
trust,
circumstance.
and not
Like
intentionally.
when you think
but
back to
because
experiences you had when you were younger, that
overriding
felt
your
so big.
intuition,
And I'm not talking about like
for
deep ones. I
years
know deep ones really have a
has the
they
effect
take
of
time
shutting
to
it
sort
down.
of dissolve, or they
And
take
this is
a
like,
big
you know this.
level of perspective to see from that.
So
But like I'm talking about a little one that you're
coming
now
to
looking back
terms with
like,
the
oh
fact
my
that I
goodness,
didn't
wasn't that funny?
necessarily
That
wanna
felt like the
teach
biggest thing in the
trauma, but I
world, and now
wanted
it's
to
like so
teach
sweet. I think of
aspiration,
myself
and I
as so
wanted
sweet
to
for
talk
even like
about
self-sovereignty,
having
and
heartbreak over
spiritual
that. That's so
sovereignty,
interesting.
knowing
Like,
that
I
there's
believe
nothing
that
between
that's
you
how we are,
and
and
your
we get to
divinity. There's
multiply
nothing between
times a
you
million and see
and
how even the
God,
most
source, the
tragic
universe,
pains, however you
have
define
some
it,
sort
we're
of
really
connection
coming
to the
into an
chain of
era
being.
where
And
it's
so
we're talking
can
about the same
self-govern
thing
our way
in
through
the end
that
when we're talking about that
and
spark
keep
of
coming
creation,
back to the fact that we can
that
look at things a little bit
allness,
differently.
that magic,
Stop beating
that
ourselves
power,
up.
that consciousness,
Stop believing
that
that,
thing that
you know, when
moves
bad
in
things
all
happen,
of
it
us,
means
that
we're
moves
forgotten
us, that
and
animates
left.
us.
And
We're talking about
remember
the same
that in
thing.
those moments we're
And
just
some
as
people
equally
really,
guided,
really
loved,
enjoy
connected to
giving it a
something
persona,
bigger, connected
giving
to
it
the
a name,
benevolent chain of
having
what's being
various
experienced. I know
categories
that's
of
hard,
what
but
that
for
expresses
if
to
you
them.
have a hard time with it,
And
try and sit with it.
what I've come to understand is
And
what you believe creates your reality.
let it show
and that's
itself
a
to
deep
you. Let it
discussion,
emerge.
and that's
I can't prove it
something
to you.
I
already
love
know it
to
and believe
talk
it.
to
I
people
already
about, especially when they
know
have
that
questions,
everything is
because
a
it pushes
lesson
the
for me, and
edges
everything
and
is
it
a
pushes
mirror
me
for
to
me.
channel and download more of
even
what
the
that really
really
means.
hard stuff.
But for
even
me,
the sad
I have
stuff,
hit
even the
a fullness around it that I don't question it. I just understand it
unexplainable
now. I
on
just
some
know it.
level
It's an intuitive
has
wisdom, but
something for me, or else it
what
wouldn't
we
be
believe
happening.
creates our reality.
And so
what we think over and
if
over
I'm
again
going to
creates
believe
our
in that,
beliefs.
it's a
There's
universal
a truth that we know deep
experience
down
of,
inside
like,
that can be
things are happening
tapped into
for a reason.
We know
I don't
how it
necessarily
feels.
believe that things are just purely chaotic, just
And
purely not even
when
attached,
we
like a random.
bypass our intuition over and
like,
over again, we
everything's
forget
connected.
how it feels.
So how is that even
And it's
possible?
not our
Something is
fault,
purely
and we're very
random out of the blue. Like maybe a miracle,
externally
but
focused.
then I would say,
and in some ways,
zoom
we've
out
been
and you'll probably
programmed
see something connected to that as well.
consciously or
You'll just see the
unconsciously.
beautiful
I talk to my
design.
kids
You'll
about
just
this.
see how
This
it
is an
was
example I
perfect
give them.
timing.
I
You'll
say,
just
when
see
you're
how it was
born,
meant to come through.
you're
So in my
completely
pain, dependent on me. And I'm like, you're dependent on me to live.
In my
literally,
pain,
for your
frustration,
food, for your survival,
my-
for your warmth, for
I can't believe this
your
happened. Why the
emotional
heck would this
connection, all
happen?
of
This
that,
makes no
for your
sense for this to
thriving, you're
happen. This
completely
sucks.
dependent on
This
me.
is shitty. This
My
is
job is to
I can't see
hand
anything good here.
over
Here are
that
some things
that
that I've learned, and it's general so that
dependence
you
and that
can contemplate
self-responsibility
on it
to you
and
over
perhaps
time
apply it to your experience. But
in amounts that you
in
can
shitty
handle,
things, I've learned
in
compassion.
amounts that help you grow,
So think about that. I learned
in amounts that
compassion
help
through
expand
what?
you,
What
so that
shitty,
by the time you
horrible,
go off on
painful,
your own,
terrible
you're
experiences did you learn
100%
compassion through?
self-responsible in
I
the
learned
most beautiful
social
way,
skills
and you enjoy
by
that, and
going
you feel
through
comfortable in that, you feel
XYZ,
confident
fill it
in
in.
that.
What
And
did you
our
learn?
time
What
during
social
teens
skills
is
did
like
you
a
learn by
handoff,
some
a back
tricky
and forth of
situations?
it.
And I'm not talking
At
like
times I
I
might
learned how to
think,
close
oh
off
no,
by
I've
being
got to
hurt.
retain
That's
the
not what I'm
authority
talking
on this
about.
one because
I'm
I'm
talking about
fearful of
I
the
learned how to
mistake you
read
might
people's
make
energy
that will be
by
detrimental.
being with someone who
And
really
there's you that
couldn't
wants to
control their
be
emotions very
sovereign
well.
and
I learned
self-regulating,
compassion
and I
by being with someone
appreciate
who
that, and I
couldn't
know
control their
that. So
emotions
it's
very
a
well.
dance.
I learned
And I
compassion by
think
being
that's
someone who couldn't
like our
control my
relationship with the
emotions very
divine as
well.
well, and with this world. We're not just in
I
relationship
learned
with
to
the
be
divine
independent
source, universe, however you
by
call it. We're not just
what?
in relationship with that.
Being
We're in
left to my own
relationship
devices,
with
being
the world,
left in
humanity
a
as
feeling
we
of
know it.
abandonment.
The relationship
I
of
learned to
humanity is
be
changing, growing, and evolving. How we know
manipulative,
ourselves to be human, how we know
or
ourselves
I
to be
learned to compromise,
self-regulating. We
or I
have the
learned to
ability to
mask,
regulate
or I learned to
ourselves.
people
We don't
please,
have to be
or I learned to
regulated.
persuade, or I
It is
learned to
my
sell,
wholehearted belief that each
or I
and
learned to
every
motivate,
individual
and I
at
learned
some
to
point
coach
matures into
by
the
going through or experiencing
self-regulation of
XYZ.
non-harming. I know it. I know it. It's who
I
we're meant to be. It's
learned
our full potential.
to read a
Beyond
room
self-harming.
by walking into a room that
Every
felt
individual has the pure potential
XYZ.
to
I learned to read a room by
radiate
feeling
into
XYZ about
reverence,
myself
into
in that room.
full on expansion.
And again, this is I'm
enjoyment,
asking you to look at
genius.
shitty
And it's not to
situations,
say
look at
that we
hard
won't bump up
situations
against each other and
for just a
encounter
second,
challenges and
not to
problems.
wallow in them, not
We
to
just
stay in
won't
them,
solve
but
them
just to like
with
give
aggression and
some
brutishness,
celebration
and
and credence to the
bullying
gold you uncovered by going through tough stuff.
force
Not that we have
and
to go through tough
oppression
stuff to learn, and
and
not that we always have to go
condemnation
through
and
tough stuff
vindication.
to gain
We're
benefit.
we're
That's
moving
not what I'm
beyond that,
saying.
but
And
we
it's
have
not,
to
I don't
develop
even
the
believe that. I
emotional,
don't believe you
empathetic
have to
capacity,
go
and the
through the
energetic
mud
intelligence
to get
to understand
the glory.
that process.
I believe
and I
it's
believe
there
we're right in the
anyway.
middle of it. I
It's
believe
always there
that's
anyway.
what
The
we're
glory is
experiencing,
always
and I
there.
know there are things in the
But
world
we
that would
might
have you
find
believe
ourselves
otherwise.
into some situations, in some
But look at how many
situations
people
that require our
understand it.
attention. So I learned to
We're
read a
all
room
coming to
by
this on our
feeling
own terms.
XYZ about
That's the
myself,
free will
or feeling
aspect.
XYZ
We
about
all
the people
get
in
to
the room,
evolve at our
or
own pace,
what?
whether that's slow, whether that's fast,
I
whether
learned
that
to
feels like
manage a
quantum
room
leaps. We're all
by
evolving at our own pace. We have our own
having a
contracts of
voice,
what that looks like.
because at a
That's the
time I
free
didn't
will
have a
part.
voice, or
We live in a free
because I
will
had
world
to quickly
where
think on my feet and do
some people
XYZ.
still feel
I learned to
that
control my mind
aggression
because my
and
mind
physical
presented me
force
with
is necessary.
I learned to
And
control
some
my
might
mind
argue,
because
well,
I
it
was
still is,
in
because
a
people
place
still
and
do things to harm
feeling
one
a
another.
frenzy in my
And all I'm
head,
saying is I believe that we are
I
headed
learned to control my
towards that
emotions
being
by
self-regulated.
or because of.
So I think this is why
I learned to process
energetics, emotional
emotions
intelligence are the
because
next
I
leap in our
finally
human evolution. We are developing these
experienced
senses
what?
like eyesight, like hearing.
I learned to control my
This is
emotions
a consciousness
for a long time, and it worked very
evolution
well
experience where we are
until
developing
it didn't work
faculties
very
of,
well,
of
and there was a buildup of
intuition,
masking or
inner
a buildup
guidance,
of
emotional
bypassing
intelligence,
to the
energetic
point where
intelligence
I
that
didn't
will
want to do
feel
anything I
akin to
didn't
us,
want to
just
do, and
like
I had to go
eyesight.
through
At
that
some point,
phase
it
of
will
like,
feel
I'm
that
not
regular.
here for doing
that
anything
innate.
I
And it
don't want to
probably
do,
already
and it felt
has
really
in
rebellious,
many
and
ways.
it felt
We
really
don't-
brutish,
we
and
just
it felt
don't
really
remember it.
like,
We don't
oh, that's gonna
remember
come
to go
across
there
as
and
selfish,
use
and
it.
it did, and I
It's
had to be okay
been
with it coming across as selfish. And
atrophied.
sometimes
It's
I was wrong,
been
and I still had to do it anyway because the person
governed.
inside
It's
really
been
needed to feel
deprogrammed.
like I was
It's
not
been
going to
overridden
keep doing that.
by whatever
I really
means.
needed to walk on the other side
And
of
I've
the
had
line
some
for a
time
bit,
in the
and I needed to be okay with
programmed.
being
Oh my God, the
wrong
media
and having to
programmed
say
us.
sorry,
And I've been
having
there.
to be like,
And
I was
while I
wrong.
don't think that
But I
that's
also still needed to
completely
walk that
false,
line for some reason.
for whatever reason, like we all understand marketing. We've seen
So I started to
you've seen
learn
Mad
to
Men. You
process my
understand that
emotions differently
marketing is
after I
to
learned
get
how
you
to
to buy
control
one
my
product
emotions.
over another.
I
We
learned
understand that there are
to
ethical marketing
I learned
programs.
my limits
There are,
by what?
subversive marketing
I learned
programs.
what not to do by
And
what?
I think
Watching
it
somebody else get in
offers
trouble,
an
watching somebody
opportunity to
else get made
strengthen
fun
your
of, watching
awareness
somebody
and
else
your
get dragged for
attunement.
something.
Like when we first
And
started
then was
getting
that
random
really
calls on our
the
phones
lesson to not do
from random
XYZ, to
numbers,
not
I'm
stand
sure we
out because of
probably answered them,
XYZ.
and now we are screening our
But
calls, and we
this
feel
is how we're
into
learning. We're learning.
when
We're
you
taking
get
in information.
notifications in your email
So I'm not saying these
that
things
you've
are
won a
necessarily
cruise or
good or
that you
bad
owe
behaviors
money,
or
or
habits. I
that
just want to
somebody
bring
is
them to
sending you
awareness and
pictures with a
neutrality,
link, and then you
and
realize,
also
do
admit
not
that
click
there
on
are
any of these things. Like
there's some gold
I really feel
gained
for the people who are new
in
to
some
this,
of
right?
these
Maybe older
experiences that were not
generations
so
who haven't
nice. There always
experienced the internet in the same
You
way.
never go through something
Sometimes my
shitty without
parents
something
even are
good
like,
being
"Do you think
involved
this
in
is
it.
real?"
But you are in charge.
And we're
of
all
figuring out
learning,
what
right?
that
We're
is.
developing that
And
intuition,
it doesn't
that
look the same
intelligence.
for everybody. And you might go
And
through such a painful experience.
it's
and say,
just, it's
"There's
so
nothing
interesting to
good
me.
here.
So
There's
that's
nothing
where
good
I
about
am.
this."
That's where I'm
And the
moving
only
forward.
good
That's what
could be
I
that we're committing to
am
change,
teaching. That's what I'm
that we know
creating
what we
information
don't
on.
want,
That's
that we've
what
got better
I'm
standards and
here to talk about.
expectations.
I have in
I
terms of Aquarius
learned the
placement.
effect of
My 8th house is
XYZ
in
by
Aquarius.
doing
I have my
or
Mars,
being or seeing.
Mercury, and Venus in
I
Aquarius.
learned boundaries by.
So I have a mini baby
I learned how to not treat
personal
myself
planet,
or my
Aquarius
body
stellium.
because
And my North Node and Ascendant is in Cancer.
I learned what
And
doesn't
so
work.
These
by-
things feel very natural to me to be
I learned
sort of
that I didn't
the
want
antenna for what's coming next. It feels very
XYZ
natural for
fill
me
in the
to
blank
channel, to download.
because
And so
XYZ fill in the blank.
these are the things that will be probably more of what I talk about
Okay.
in season 3.
So looking at all that,
and I'm going to continue
what's become
sharing
clear to me anyway,
pieces
as
of
I
how I've learned to
went through these
regulate my
questions
energy
in my own way
and how to
around time,
balance
is
and
that
harmonize my energy.
I found a better way.
and be aware.
I
and
found a better
feel
feeling
fully
way. I
and
found a better
nurture and
pathway.
nourish and be
I
still.
found a better way to do it. I found a better option.
and find peace in various
I found
degrees
the
of
secret
situations.
menu.
And I want to share
I found the faster route.
how
I
I
found
do
the
this,
better
not
path.
so that you can say,
I found the
okay,
more
so it's 5
efficient
breaths every morning.
I found the thing that
or it's
feels
a half
so
an hour
good.
breath
I
work
found a
every
way
morning.
to do it that feels good. I found the way
this
that,
is what I
that
do.
feels like
I know what
home,
it feels like.
like
So I'm gonna
comfort, like
communicate
stretching
in
my
metaphor
edges, like
and in practical
exciting.
tools as best
I
as
found
I know
what
how to share that and what
feels
I've
better for me.
found works for other people. But again, it has to be something
And
you've calibrated
I know
into
that we
in
all
your
have
experience.
this
You have
experience.
to
I know
find
that
your
we all
way
have
through
this
it.
ability to find the better
And
feeling
then
thing, the better
I
thing,
really want to talk
the way
about
that it feels better
how I
for
see us
us,
crossing this
the way
evolutionary
that feels
bridge,
light,
how I see
the way that
everybody
doesn't feel so
coming
heavy.
to this eventually, this awareness, this understanding. And it's been here for a while. Think about how long we've been talking about
This-
vibe. That vibe
the
is
way
off.
that feels like it's
person's vibe is
supposed
off.
to,
I
the
was
way that
feeling
feels
weird
like
about
it's
the
supportive,
situation.
the
It
way that
didn't
feels
feel right. Something didn't
easeful
feel right.
and graceful.
That was like our intuition perking up, turning on, like lighting up.
And
Imagine it's
so
been sort of turned
what's
off
interesting
for a while
is
and it's
that
now lighting
I
up,
look
lighting
at
up.
it like
and we've got to get
I
used to it.
left
And in the beginning, we
breadcrumbs for
might
myself,
misinterpret it. We might
for
think
myself
we're
the
feeling
way I
one
wanted
thing
to
and get
feel.
confused.
And it's, you can
Our
think of it
body might
again like
be
God, source,
interpreting
higher self,
signals.
whatever.
And on
But there's
top
a
of
version
that,
of
we might
me
have
that
programs running that
energetic
get our
feeling
wires
breadcrumbs
crossed
along
about
the
what we're
path. And as I
intuiting.
hit
And
those
it's not a
milestones and
problem.
those things,
It's all okay.
I felt
We're figuring it
into,
out.
oh, I like this. Oh, I want more
It's
of this.
okay to make
yes,
mistakes.
yes,
It's
this
not
is
a
for me. This
problem.
is what I want.
We're
yes.
not limited just because
And
we're
it feels
learning.
like
This
light,
is a
and it feels like
progression.
it's supposed to.
Evolution is rocky,
Like I wanted it to.
but it's also graceful.
Like there was
in
a
the sense
call
that
and
we
a
are
receive. Like there's a send and
surrounded by
receive.
grace when we're learning. And
Like
when
I wanted
we're
to feel for
going
myself.
through this evolution. We're not expected to be experts and masters instantly. It is a process
Like
we learn to
God made a
master.
road that feels good.
And so
Or God set
we're
a
walking
station, or
through
my higher
this
self
with one
set a
another.
station and a bandwidth
And one of
that I
my
could just find and
sort
be
of
on.
big,
But I like how it feels.
big themes is
when it's
energy
me,
first. One
when
of the
it's me
themes in
to
my life
me,
is
when I think
is energy
I'm
first,
doing
and
this
I
with
understand that we
myself
create in the energy before
and a higher version of myself
it's
or an expanded
materialized,
self, when
right?
it feels personal.
The experience of anything is a thought.
When I know
First.
it's for
So
all, and when
we
I
wanna
know
make
that it's
something, we
abundant,
wanna
that
sculpt
everybody has
something, we wanna
access to
paint
this.
something.
I don't like thinking
It
like
comes
this.
to
I've
us
just
in
found
some
this,
sort of
and
visionary,
that doesn't make sense to me.
energetic,
Everybody has this
intuitive
capability.
hunch,
Everybody has
hint,
the capability to find this for
blueprint,
themselves,
something.
to be in this flow,
even
and
the
this
way
bandwidth
a
and this
baby's created,
experience for
energetic
themselves.
first, and then
I like
created
to
in the
know that
material.
it's abundant.
So
I like to know
knowing
that it's
that
non-conditional,
we're developing our energy readers internally. We're developing our
and that
ability to read
you can
energy,
feel it,
to
and
suss out
inspire your
energy,
way
to
there.
feel into
That you can
energy,
self-regulate, self-govern. You
discern
are your own
energy.
self-governor. You know when you've hit the
We are
lesson. You
learning
know when
to
you've hit the
intuit
flow.
energy.
You know when you're
We're
hitting
learning
the
to
spot.
use energy.
That sweet
We're
spot,
learning
like
to
compound
compound
energy.
energy.
You know
We're
when you
learning to
feel
conserve
it.
energy.
You feather into
We're
it.
learning
You feel
to
it,
metabolize
and you can
energy.
grab it.
And I
All
like
this
thinking of it
is helpful
as well, like a
because we can
compass,
start
like
a North
using
Star,
our intuition,
like a future
even more.
destination.
But it's ever
Self-present.
self-regulating beings.
And it's like a calibration.
We have the ability to
It's always
self-heal. We
there.
have the ability
It's
to
like a home
self-regulate. We
station
have
or
the
a
ability to
default setting or a
self-determine.
way of
We have the
being
ability to self-lead.
that's not stagnant.
just
It's not stuck.
Need
It's
to
just
remember
that
how.
there's a
And we
there's a
just need
place
to
that
develop
feels
the
in
faculties and tools
that's balance
that
and
makes
harmony,
this
that
feel
moves with you as you
easier,
become,
because it is
that it
natural
becomes
and it is
part
innate,
of you,
and yet it is our next
that it was
evolutionary
always
jump.
there,
So it is
and it always
something
will be
to
there.
get comfortable with,
But perhaps you forgot, and you're
and
just
that takes some
remembering.
deprogramming,
And it's true for you,
and
and it's personal, and it's
deconditioning,
impersonal,
and reprogramming,
because
and
everybody gets it,
trusting. It's
and it's beyond this
like,
mental projection
I don't
or
know. So much of
cultural
this
thoughts.
game is learning
like
to trust
an
yourself
everlasting
through
thing.
the groping in the dark stage, through the making mistakes stage, through
It's-
the feeling
It's
yourself
knowing
in a
that
new way
there's
stage.
a pathway for you.
And I think when we have
There's
that
your
self-love
bandwidth, there's
and
your
grace,
like station, there's your home
we
station.
go
But
through
maybe it doesn't
easier.
feel like it sometimes, and maybe it feels like
And
there's so much overgrown bush on the
remembering
path
that
that you have to like chop it,
there
or
are
you have to
certain
forge a new path.
limitations that we are
But
going
even
to
if on the
experience
material
in this
realm
process,
or
and
in
it
the
doesn't
like
mean
treading
we're
water
not
realm,
meant
it
to
feels like
evolve
you
and
have to
expand
walk
beyond
this
those
thing out in its
limitations.
brand new territory.
But it does mean
There
that
is
we're meant to
breadcrumbs, there
see
is
something
something, there
within
is a
those. We're meant
tone
to
that you can
either
lock
use
into
them
and feel and
or
harmonize with and
transverse
be like,
them
yep,
or traverse
that's my
them.
spot, that's my sweet spot. That's how
And it's going to be
I
different
can
from
trust
situation to
and
situation.
self-regulate and self-govern and
Sometimes the
walk
limitation
towards.
is there to stop
And
us.
so
Sometimes the limitation
those
is there
are
to
the
grow us.
foundational
Sometimes the limitation
questions
is there to
and
strengthen
foundational
us. Sometimes the limitation is there to
contemplations I'd
test
like to
if we
present
really
to you
want
to
this
consider
thing,
before
or develop a
you
new
know, you
strength, or
really
develop a new way around it.
get into
And
this
that takes
energetic
a huge
stuff
amount of
of
trust in your own intuition,
maybe
to
not
know
before, but in
what to
tandem
do
with
when.
like, how do you
And
actually
a
see the
whole lot of
world?
self-forgiveness to know that if you've
Do
gone
you actually believe that the world
the
is
wrong
working out for you,
way,
that life is
there
working
isn't
out
really
for you?
a wrong way.
This is the
If you've done
this is the
something,
question,
you're like,
is life happening
get
to
what that
you or
was saying
for you?
before. It
Like
wasn't
we
meant to
hear
be
it
like
and
that.
just
It
really
was meant
like
to be like that.
legitimately,
So you learn that
literally
lesson. So
contemplate
you
that.
learn that thing. So
Who
you
I
learn,
really
you
feel.
picked up a
And do I
piece of
only feel
information,
that
and
when
if you
things
can
are good?
continue looking at the journey like that,
And like, does that
you're
mean
always
that would mean
picking
it's
up
not
a piece of
universal?
information.
That would
You're
mean it's
always
conditional. That would
calibrating
mean
to
it's
the new.
not unconditional.
always
So what would it take for me to believe
able
that
to
that's
pivot
conditional,
and keep
universal,
going.
always,
Then it
regardless?
becomes much more easy to
What would it
navigate.
take? Sometimes it would take a
And
huge
so I want to leave you with
stretch.
this
Like,
understanding
going
of
through something that feels
limitations, like
fucking painful, and
to look at
I
limitations
don't
as a
believe right
gift,
now, and I
and
can't
also to
see that
understand
this is for
that
my best and it's happening
the
for me. Like, what the
limitations
fuck? I've been there too.
that
And I can tell you,
others
the more I just
set,
relax,
if they don't feel
relax,
right
and
to
not
you, they're not
resist,
for
and
you.
just open a little bit more.
So
and
if
a
somebody
little bit
says,
more
no,
and a
you
little bit
can't, you're
more,
not going to be able to do
I'm always
that, or
shown.
you're not going to be
I'm
able to
always shown
evolve
the
that, or
why.
you're not going to be
I'm
able to
always
heal
shown
yourself,
an
or you're not
ability
going to
to
be able
settle
to
into the thing.
whatever
I'm always
that,
shown.
whatever
And
they're
and then
saying.
it
If
feels
that
like,
doesn't feel right to you,
you know, blowing out
because it's not
50,000
right for
feet
you,
and
and
being
it's
like,
not the
oh my
highest
God, this
truth
thing is so
for
much
you.
smaller than I feel like it is right
I
now.
personally
I can
now
see
do
both
not
the
take on other people's
experience I'm having,
limitations as
plus
my
the
own.
blown
If
out
they think
experience of
something's
looking down on it,
impossible,
being like, oh, this is you got
that's
this.
not my
This is
business.
not big.
That's not for me.
Or, you know, like
I'm
I was
living in a
saying this to somebody
very
the other day. We were talking. And I'm like,
expanded way.
when you're like having the best time with your friend, your
And
bestie, and like something
I'm
happens, like something
practicing
serious, like
more and
maybe you
more
scratch your
every
car
day
in an underground parking
to move
garage on a pole,
beyond
or you like hop a curb,
constructs,
whatever, blow a
limitations.
tire or something.
And as much as I love
Something,
human
like,
beings, and as
stupid
much as I
happens,
love
and then-
other
but
people,
because you're with
other
that one
people's
bestie, that one
limitations
friend
or
that you're just
limited
having the
perspective
greatest
on
time
what's
with,
available,
it's just water off a
here
duck's back. And I'm not
is
saying
not
you like bypass the
me.
thing, like fuck it, we'll keep driving down the highway with
and I
a
wouldn't live
with
by
a
somebody
flat
else's
tire and like
limitations. It's
no,
like
that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, it
knowing that
becomes
I've been able
almost
to do
a funny
something,
aspect
I don't
or
know,
a funny
lift a certain
joke, or
weight,
like,
and then somebody
yeah,
saying
whatever.
it's like
Like,
literally
it's not, it will
impossible
not
to lift
ruin.
this.
You're already
But you
on
know you've lifted
such
it. Why would you
a robust
consider that
bandwidth of enjoying
person's
yourself and this person that
perspective
you're on the same
on
level in your love and
possibility?
life, and it really doesn't detract that
And
much. Like,
it
yeah,
took me a
you
while
have to deal with it. Yeah,
to
it's a thing.
realize I don't
But
have
now
to go
becomes
back
a
and learn
mission.
lessons I've already learned.
Like,
So
I think about
this is an
Steven getting
interesting
home from the bar and trying
intro
to
podcast
when I was
to
younger
season 3
with a friend, and like,
I've been sitting
oh
here
God,
pretty
are you kidding
casually.
me? So and so left that. Now we got to figure out how we're getting
off
home. Like,
script.
God, we spent all our money.
And
Like,
the
what?
next ones I think will be
And it
a
becomes a
little
mission,
more,
and it's funny. And like, yeah, that seems dangerous,
organized,
to be honest, when I
let's
say it
say.
now, but
Thank you
whatever.
for
I'm
being
still alive.
here.
So
if you've
yeah,
been here
things
for
like
all
that.
3
I don't even
seasons,
drink
thank you
anymore,
so
so here we
much.
go.
If you're just finding me,
things like
welcome,
that.
welcome. I'm so happy to be
Put
here
things
with
in
you.
perspective.
I'm
and
so
if you
happy
could be that
to
version, I'm
share
not
with
talking
you
about like
my
boozed
experience.
up and irresponsible. That's not necessarily
And
what I'm
if
talking
it's
about. But I'm
inspiring
talking
you,
about on the bandwidth.
have at
It's
her.
not a problem. It's
Thank
not
you
that
very
big of a
much.
deal. In the grand
Talk
scheme
to
of
you
things, it's
soon.
not really a problem.
Welcome
Emergencies,
back to season
it's
3
not a life and
of
death
For the Love
emergency
of
here.
Humanity.
So we can just enjoy
I'm so
and
excited
govern
about
and
this
relax
season.
and keep moving.
I've
and figure it
taken
out
some time to
and
reflect on the last
lay
2
into ease a little bit more.
seasons
Lay into
and what I
non-resistance
have
a little bit more.
shared
Remember
in
that
terms
this
of
is part of it.
progress.
This might
And
just be part of the
there were
adventure
moments
today.
where I felt
might just
kind
be
of
part of the mission
uncomfortable
today.
about being vulnerable, or
So
about
those are some things I'd
sharing
love for you to
my
contemplate
thoughts, experiences, emotions.
next
And
time.
time.
Not because
I have a
you know
few
what
ideas
I'm
for next
sharing
time,
is
so I'm not even gonna
particularly
speak about it 'cause I don't
vulnerable
even-
in
I
general.
don't know which one
but
I'm gonna land
more
on for next
so
time. But thank
because
you
this is stuff
for being
that
here. Thank you for
in the
contemplating. Thank you
past
for
I've wanted to keep
considering.
rather
Thank you for
close to
being
heart.
open.
So
It's
Thank you
been
for
a very
spending your time with me.
cool thing to feel it
I enjoy you very
externalized
much.
and show up
I don't even know
and
you.
share
Yeah, I just met you and this is crazy. I don't
from
even know you.
a place
But
of bare
again,
giving
I'm
and
at
bare just
Femist
wanting
on Instagram.
to
Come find me.
relate
Send me a message.
to any human on the other end
Show me your
listening
face.
to this.
Love, don't be shy.
And so
Reach out.
I wanted to record when things were
And
timely.
I'll
I
catch
wanted
you
to
next time.
share when things
Bye
were
for now.
still